The C-MAX Energi is a keyless startup, and we're on. Now, I've driven this a little bit. It's showing 18 miles on the battery. It automatically goes into auto EV mode, and when we back up, it's pretty quiet. Nice backup camera with the tilty shadow lines to help you ease out of the driveway. Ooh, we need to make sure that I close the garage door. I always forget. We're good. But this is a good point that I can demonstrate. My driveway is pretty steep, and with some cars like, the Chevy Volt that are very low in the front, it scrapes. C-MAX does not scrape. You'll notice that the engine does not start up. It's 36 degrees this morning. The C-MAX did not start the engine up, and I'm going to reset so you can see how easy it is to crank out some crazy numbers over relatively short distances. So again, right now we're in auto EV mode, and I'm going to try and drive it gingerly, although I might stomp on it for you once so you can see what happens. It's so quiet, it's eerie, basically. The battery indicator will show you whether you're putting energy back into the battery or whether you're using it. We're kind of headed down a slight hill towards the bridge here. So we're putting energy back in, and you'll see the recirc going on. This lacrosse in front of us is going kind of slow. Now, this road we're coming up to is 30 miles an hour, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to stomp on it so you can see what happens. We'll take it up to about 40. Just need to avoid those potholes. So from a full stop in auto EV mode, it's a little crazy because it starts the engine up to help. I don't know if you want to floor it or not. That didn't feel that great. Also knocked our MPG's way down. Okay, so we're sitting here at the intersection. You can hear the engine is running because it started up after that full pedal incident there. I imagine that it will shut off once it warms up, but we'll see how it goes here. We're using the engine right now because it's warming up, and the average MPGs have dropped pretty far. I expect that once it comes up to temperature, we'll go back into an EV cruise. Okay, the engine's warmed up and we're back to cruising under electric power. MPGs are marching up now from 35. And we'll see, a few miles down the road it'll go over 100 because we won't be using any gasoline. It's exceptionally quiet. We're rolling at about 45 miles an hour, and it's kind of nice. I'll take it up to 55. Now, some hybrids will pop out of EV mode at these speeds, but we're good. I prefer the ride and handling of the C-MAX to the Prius. I haven't driven the Prius plug-in though, so I imagine maybe there's a little bit of difference there. It's heavier than the standard Prius. From an acceleration standpoint, you know, when the engine's cooking, it's quite fast. You see the 0 to 60 on that. And you're not going to do 0 to 60s in electric mode. That's just, I don't know, what's the point of it? Just going to eat up your battery pretty quick. During your daily routine, your normal commute, if your commute's not that far, you'll probably just leave it in auto EV mode and let it run that way. If you've got to deal with a lot of different terrain and traffic and you got a longer ride, you might want to save your EV, use EV later mode. Or you're gonna over time find out where the best places to use that electric energy might be. So now our average MPG is cranked up to 61. We're a few miles down the road. By the time we come up to a little burb up here, Millstone, it'll be well over 100. You know, the whole, oh, I'm getting 100 miles per gallon thing is kind of ridiculous. You just have to think of it in a completely different way. Think of it as, I can get about 20 miles under electric power, and after that, it's a hybrid. And it gets pretty good mileage. On the highway, you know, these things are still challenged. 47 MPG ain't happening at higher speed. Unless there's something I haven't figured out yet. Okay, we're rolling into Millstone. We've got about 10 miles of charge left in the battery, and the average MPG gauge says, oh boy, 119 MPG. But you know what? It's kind of you know, it's just confusing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really mean anything. Sort of does, but it doesn't really. I don't know. Gonna be heading up a hill. We're gonna be heading up a hill, and this is what I'm gonna do. I am gonna go into EV later mode. Oh, 100% returned on that, and 122 MPG. I'm going to go into EV later mode. It's going to reserve 57% of my plug-in energy for later, because I want to test on the highway and see how well she does at speed and cruise on the interstate highway under electric power. Sitting at the light here in southbound Brook, average MPG is down to 72.9 because we've been cruising in hybrid mode for a while. And we've got to line through Bound Brook and then head up the hill. We'll see those numbers drop because, boy oh boy, you got a pretty steep climb going up the hill. And that always eats up with the MPGs. And once I get onto the highway, once I get onto Route 78, I'm going to kick it into straight EV mode for a while and see what it's like cruising at 65 under EV power. Okay, we're creeping into Bound Brook, which is one of those towns that always seems to have to deal with the floods. Increasingly so. And traffic like this is just ideal for hybrids because you are constantly regenerating energy. You're always on the brakes. You don't have to go very fast, so you can just kind of creep. And, you know, these people need to learn how to drive a roundabout. If you're in the roundabout, you keep going. If you're not in, you leave. So we're cruising around the roundabout, just with electric power. Cruising down Main Street, just under electric power. Light stops, dusk. We don't burn any gas when we're idling. If the light changes, we don't need to burn any gas when we take off. There's the engine kicking in. We'll step down a little bit. You have to have the discipline to drive it the right way, though. It makes all the difference. We're heading up the big hill, and if I had a camera pointing the other way, you can see there's a great view of Jersey from the top of this hill. But it's eating up the fuel efficiency. We're seeing boy, 56 miles per gallon we're down to. Because hills eat gas. Just part of the game, kids. We just crested the hill, and we're down to 55.2 MPG. Not so great, huh? Problem is, hills eat gas, no matter what. They eat energy, whether it's electricity or gasoline or diesel or CNG. Can't fight physics. We're getting on Route 78 East, and that'll take us to Jersey City. We'll go into Manhattan from there. And 54.6 right now. Take it up to highway speed and see how we do. Now I'm going to go nice and easy. I'm going to put it into cruise. For the Eco Cruise. Set at about 61 right now. And we're at 53.5. Now, let's see what happens if I switch into EV mode. If I switch into auto EV mode. Hit the rub strip there. Sorry about that. I wish I could hang a camera on this, but just not safe on the highway so you can see where the gauge is. I'm cruising at 62 under EV power and heading up a slight incline. The engage setup is a pretty good way to look at this because you can see how you're using electricity versus gasoline. And now as we're driving, it's dropping the battery down because we're using power from the big pack. Our MPGs are going to go up a bit. It's going to, the further we drive, the better the MPGs are going to look. But it's going to eat up that battery pack. So if you keep your speeds down, you'll maximize the number of miles you can get out of it. This takes some experimentation, and honestly, I only have this car for a week. It's going back today. I haven't been able to experiment enough and be able to put enough miles on it to get a great feel for it. I think over time, the average owner is going to, the average C-MAX owner is going to get a really good feel for what works in their situation. To go into EV mode, where not to. If you plug your home address into the nav, set it as home, you can then go into EV Plus mode when you're near home to just drain your battery because it knows you're going to be able to plug in when you get there, squeak out more miles. Neat stuff, but oh boy, it really needs to be put through its paces to see how it behaves. And I just haven't the resources or time to really do it this week. Our average MPGs are cranking up to 59.3 at this point. We've just been gliding under EV power for a few miles now. Super smooth, super quiet, just a pleasant ride. Now I'd imagine if I bring the speed up, we'll just end up draining the battery even faster. But let's see what happens. I'm going to click the cruise control. I want to try to accelerate heading downhill rather than up. And now we're cruising at 70 under electric power. That's pretty cool. It's a 65 mile an hour road. I'm now doing 75 under electric power. I think I better slow it down a little bit. And I'm slowing it down with the cruise control. Battery's down to about 5 miles at this point. MPGs are up to 62.2. might save a few miles of EV for once we get into Manhattan. It's probably a good idea. So I'm going to click out of EV now mode and go into EV later. I'm headed down the hill. So we are actually still cruising under electric power at 68 miles an hour, but it's not coming from the big pack. Let's see how high we can keep the numbers up. Getting all the way into Manhattan. When I picked this up last Tuesday night, the coolest thing was being able to crawl through 45 minutes of rush hour Manhattan traffic without using any gasoline, just purely in EV mode. That was magic, and that's when you get the most out of it in those insane traffic situations. Yeah, hybrids are good in traffic, but an EV in traffic is even better. We're coming up on Newark, and I've got to say this will probably be my most fuel-efficient trip into Manhattan yet. Right now I'm averaging about 59.4 miles per gallon. Kind of go down. We get closer to the river, you get to Jersey City, you kind of head downwards, right? You got to go down a big ramp. So we'll see. Fingers crossed I can maintain a total 60 mile per gallon average over the whole trip. And I'm saving those last few miles in the battery, but once I get into Manhattan, I can go into auto EV mode. Hopefully it'll be the most fuel efficient way to do it. When you're coming up to toll booths, that's a good time to save some energy, save some gas, save some electricity. And regen. You're in a hybrid, that's when you want to get your regen happening. You're coming down from 60 miles an hour or so down to nearly a complete stop. You got an easy pass, you roll through, but 15 miles an hour, whatever the station says. But you still, good opportunity to put some energy back in the battery. Now, it can get a little complicated up here. And this isn't my car, right? So otherwise I'd have my easy pass stuck up there. I've got to always throw it up to the window to make it work. There goes that camera. Oh well, that camera's out of battery. So I don't know, you're not going to get that scenic view of the city because the battery in that contour camera is not so hot. We're about to go over one of the bridges. I can't remember the name. Going to look a little bit like The Sopranos in a minute here. You can probably see this as I drive past. There are just a ton of shipping containers. And these things stack up like mad. We're near the port of Newark. And this road will take us up over the bridge. I can't remember what the river is we're about to go over. It'll take us into Jersey City, and then from Jersey City, take the tunnel into Manhattan, and then head up the West Side Highway. And if that battery went out, I don't know how much longer this one's going to work. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm at 58.4 miles per gallon. We're going to burn up a little bit of gas heading up the bridge, and then on the way down, let's foot off, regenerate a little bit, and so now we're headed down from the bridge, and it's a coast, so a little bit of energy goes back into the battery, and you see the MPGs crank up a little bit. We're at 57.1 right now, not too shabby. Again, I'm hoping that once we get into Manhattan, then I can use up the 4 miles that are left in the plug-in pack, that I'll be able to score an average of 60 for the trip. It's Traffic's a little hairy. Hopefully we don't have any Russian webcam action going on. You know what I'm saying? I was always nervous to drive into Manhattan and drive in Manhattan until I started driving other people's expensive cars. It still makes me nervous. Especially when dealing with these tractor trailers. You can't see it from where the camera is, but it is just like container trailer after container trailer. And they are all lined up at this exit. It always cracks me up to see people speed towards a toll plaza, because half the time the people that drive the fastest are the ones that don't have easy pass. So they drive as fast as they can so they can go stand in line. Well, let's get some regen action going on here. Some juice back in the battery. Speed limit is 15. We're good. Now I got a little bit of an uphill run here. And then we can do some coasting into beautiful Jersey City. Rolling up to the mouth of the Holland Tunnel. Average MPG 56 even. Now when you roll into the tunnel, it's downhill. So that's good for EVing. You get to the bottom and then crawl up. Sometimes you can coast through that, sometimes not. So we'll see what we can get out of the normal EV mode. And I'll just try and creep through this as much as I possibly can. There's a series of lights with the streets, the cross streets, and during rush hour, man, this is a huge mess. Just, you don't want to drive it. Trust me on that, you don't want to drive it. It's no fun. But if you're going to come into Manhattan, the best time to do it, you know, is on the off hours. Not rush hour, after rush hour. Right now it's 12:25. Lunchtime. $13 to get in the tunnel here. $13. Round trip. What a bargain. So we're just crawling under normal hybrid EV mode, not EV mode. And into the tunnel we go. While I was little, we would always go into the city. Sometimes by car, sometimes by bus. And the tunnel always kind of freaked me out. There are a lot of people that are afraid to drive in tunnels. I've gotten over it, you know. I guess after decades of doing it, it doesn't bother me that much. You're supposed to stay in lane, but you watch people, they're all over the place. They're just stupid that way. Let's see, 56.9 right now. We're headed downhill, we're cruising, using an electricity in a small battery pack. And you get to a certain point, right around here somewhere, where you start to climb uphill. And this is, I get it mixed up. This is the Holland Tunnel in Jersey City. Lincoln is higher up there in Weehawken. Let's see if I can shoot a camera. Yeah, we'll do that. Nice. A little iPhone picture action for you. Not supposed to do that, kids, but I just did. Tell me that you don't do that. I don't text when I'm driving. Once in a while I'll snap a quick photo. Never text. Never read emails. That's just asking for disaster, if you ask me. I love having these new cars because they all have the hands-free. You know, you don't have to put the phone in your ear. In New Jersey, there's a big fine, big honking fine for driving with a cell phone that's not hands-free. So I don't have hands-free in my car because it's a convertible. It's pointless. You can't talk in a convertible anyway. But these test cars all seem to have it now, and it's pretty fantastic. Some of the reception is better than others. That's just the way it is. So I'm just going to ramble because I'm afraid if I reach over and shut the camera off to save batteries, that I'll smash into the wall. And we don't want to see that because I'll have shut the camera off and you won't see it. So what's the point? If I'm going to smash in the wall, all the cameras should be running. I should have 3 cameras, multiple angles. It would go viral. Idiot reviewer smashes up car on YouTube with all cameras running. Let me think about that. All right, we're out of the tunnel. 57.3 miles per gallon. Not bad. Not bad. But here's where it gets good, kids. Because I'm going to go to EV mode. And I'm going to go to auto EV, normal operation. And we're going to get the last little drip out of the battery. Unfortunately, I filled this up. And, you know, the next guy that drives it's driving on my gasoline. That's life. I have learned on the last trip in that you don't want to go straight at this intersection. You definitely want to go right. And then you want to wind your way over to the West Side Highway. Because that's maybe the most efficient way to get yourself uptown. And I will not be singing Uptown Girl. Hope that doesn't bother you. So we're in downtown Manhattan. What street is that? I don't even know. There's nothing famous right here. Try and get my butt over to the... that one's not happening. Hey, watch it, buddy. Huh? We're in Greenwich Village. Look, a smart car. Cobblestone Street. Oh, stop. Don't miss it. You see any cobblestone streets in your town? Kind of ridiculous that they're still in Manhattan, but they are. It's the charm and ambiance. Yeah, we're still sitting at 57.9. Not too bad. See, I don't know if you see the buildings over there. That's Jersey City, the Gold Coast, they call it. Heading up the West Side Highway. Dog walkers. What a job that is, huh? I could be in the other lane, huh? Oh, I'm not going to score good on this one. What do we got? 42. So let that be a lesson to you. Anticipate the lights and don't accelerate into them or you'll waste energy. To your left, it's the Marine and Aviation building, whatever that is. And we're coming up on Pier 59, or something like that. I'm not your tour guide. That would be kind of a fun job, don't you think, being an obnoxious Manhattan tour guide? I'd have to know where I was going in order to do it. But it might be kind of fun if you didn't know where you were going. It would add that element of surprise. Hey, I have no idea where we're going. All this stuff because I have one camera I can't show you. The IAC building, which is quite spectacular, on the right-hand side. Chelsea Piers on the left. The IAC building on the right, which you can't see. Tough noogies. Next time I'll bring a better camera. That was a good stop. That was 92. Got 2 miles left in the big battery pack. Averaging 60.1, so I hit my number. See how high I can get it in the next 15 blocks or so. That's more than 15 blocks. We're on 29th, and I need to go to 54th. Beautiful day. Up to about 46 now. And I am hitting all the stoplights. Let's see what kind of score I get out of this one. Ease into it. 100%. That's how it's done. What do you think? That Denali probably gets like what, 12 miles to the gallon? He's on his phone. He could care less. Hands-free, 10 miles to the gallon. Doesn't matter. I'm driving a Denali. Pier 79, where you pick up the ferry coming up. Takes you over to Manhattan. This is the best way. If you're coming from Jersey and you need to go to Jacob Javits for a show, best way is to take the ferry from Weehawken, from another spot. So it drops you off right behind Jacob Javits. Coming up on 42nd Street. We will not be driving down 42nd Street though. Lucky Strike lanes to my right. You can't see it. Oh man. One day I want to visit the Intrepid. This is on my bucket list forever. I gotta visit the Intrepid. It's a retired aircraft carrier museum here in Manhattan. And it's just spectacular, the array of airplanes that they have on the flight deck. Just way too cool. So one of these days I'm doing it. Wow. And we've got about 1 mile left in that big battery pack, which is just pretty much perfect. Start getting over. Alright. And there's the engine. Engine is now on. 61 miles per gallon as we creep up to the nest. Sorry to have to turn you in. Thank you. How are you doing? Good. Press car.